Disclaimer, we'd like to note before the start of this interview that the opinions about to be expressed by the guest on tonight's Gettin Salty Experience podcast are that of the guest and do not directly or necessarily reflect the views of the host of the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Put the fucking fire out!
You're listening to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Hello! Oh, hello, Ruffy. Welcome back to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast. Nice fish. Nice fish, bro.
Nice stash.
The only one that brings the firehouse.
Nice stash, bro. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, you're cheap, for Christ's sake. Take a couple of dollars out of your pocket, man. What are you doing?
Poor planning on my part.
Nothing?
Poor planning. He's busy. The guy's busy. He's a chief. He's running things.
The only
You're
thing
not
I was
doing
thinking is I have a, you
you got the pepper?
Why do you have a red pepper hanging from your
rearview mirror?
Welcome
Nice
back.
stash,
What do you got from Chet? Yeah, thanks, man. Ruffy got it from me. I can't even say I did it, Gon. See, I'll wrap myself out. Ruffy did it.
Yeah,
He was ahead of the game because we got a guy with a hell of a stash today. Dude, this guy is funny as bulls, man. Ruffy just turned me on to him today. I mean, I saw a couple things that he did, but now I'm addicted to his channel. And you will be too after tonight. I can guarantee you that.
You're a dick.
He's got a huge
funny.
following.
He's funny as hell, man. I don't know where he comes up with this shit. Anyway, who we got in there? Todd Swansby, Pee Wee, Filipello, William, the Fish Jr., QC Beast. Who my girl was in there. Who else?
We got a couple of new names in here. Welcome.
Gabe Fox, Ray, Fat Daddy, Sammy
Tilly.
Peters, and the rest of the gang. Tilly's in there.
Oh, hello,
Great.
Till.
It's gonna be a funny show because this man is funny. Funny. And he's a
I like
funny
this.
man. Go
I like the
figure.
quiet side of him, like when he's, when you're
He's
just
chill.
talking
Like
about.
you wouldn't know that.
chill.
When you watch his videos, I was laughing out loud. I had to mute myself. Crying out loud.
No.
He's funny.
Yes.
Cool.
Just watching him
Right,
giggle.
guys? He's funny. Than cool.
Yeah. I would have to agree.
All right, play some commercials, Guns. Will you, for crying out loud? We got two of them.
Oh, see, he's getting all defensive. Oh, here we go.
Who,
Let's
me?
listen to
Funny
Vince.
how?
No,
I don't
funny
get
how. No, negative.
how?
All right, here we go. Mr. Vince.
Need a new floor for your fire station? Choose an Armor-Tough interlocking flooring system to cover your aging, stained, cracked concrete or epoxy floor. Around for nearly 20 years and proven to be the best choice in renovating your station floors, covering nearly 600 floors across the country, Armor-Tough is proudly made in America and comes with a lifetime warranty with floors that are usually installed in 1 or 2 days, depending on the size of your station, and no disruption in the process to your station's operations. Our system is guaranteed from chipping, cracking, peeling, breaking, or staining. The tiles are stain resistant and impervious to chemicals or volatiles that are used in the fire service. If you damage one tile, you can lift and replace without anyone knowing. And once it's installed, your floor would be easy to clean with just soap and water. It's not only for apparatus rooms. You can install an Armor-Tough floor in virtually any room and choose from the hundreds of colors from the Designer Series or, if you like, from the Utility Series floor coverings. Are you in need of gear racks, an extractor, or gear dryers? Install an Armor-Tough floor in your apparatus bay and take full advantage of a deep discount, saving you thousands of dollars on any of the Grove products line. Why install a breakable epoxy floor that'll need replacing in 5 to 10 years when you could have a floor that will last a lifetime? The Armor-Tough flooring system is half the price of epoxy and will last a lifetime without issue, more importantly. Join the hundreds of career and volunteer departments nationwide who have chosen an Armor-Tough interlocking tile floor. Call Vince today for a no-obligation quote at 908-917-7697.
Bro, so Kevin Malone wants to know where the Daisy Mountain Phoenix Fire Department, Daisy Mountain Fire Department is. Should I say it to him or are you going to tell him? Ask your old lady, Malone. That's where ask her. She knows where it is. Bro.
We didn't tell you yet? It must not be none of your fucking business then right now.
None yet. What?
Yes. Wait till you see our guest. That's why we're hiding behind mustaches.
Yes.
Anyway, play the other question. We got to do quick. Come on.
All right. Here we go.
The First Responders Center for Excellence is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to protecting the lives and livelihoods of first responders. Their education and research initiatives aim to bring greater awareness and understanding to the challenges to the health, safety, and well-being of firefighters, EMS personnel, and other first responders too. They are an affiliate of the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation.
Hoo-ah! Settle down, says Malone. All right, so I'm going to tell you a quick one I probably never said before. Take some time for yourself, right? To get yourself right in the head. And I'm gonna do this tomorrow as I watch this man. Laugh a little, put everything to the side, right, Roof? Put the business to the side, put the kids to the side, sit down with a cup of coffee and laugh a little bit. And there's your old school health and safety tip for tonight. Big Bam Boom, bring him in.
I like it. You ready,
All
guys?
right. No.
Coming to the stage, Captain Brent Fenton.
Firefighter Fenton!
And there, wait.
Look at the face. Look at the face.
Look how he turned character, bro. He went right into character. What's up there, Fenton?
What character are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, he was.
I don't know.
All right, hold on. We got before we
Yeah.
start. Hold on before we get started.
Can we get patriotic here, Fenton? You right?
Are you ready?
You're gonna get patriotic.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What's the longest you've had to keep that up there, Fenton?
Keep what up? What are you talking about?
Welcome to the show, Brent.
Thank you so much for having me. You know,
Yeah. You're a star. You're a rising star.
I feel like I'm about to blow a lot of people's minds tonight. You know,
In what way?
my birthday.
Oh shit, that's good.
How long can you keep that up for, bro? I mean, that's got to be like.
Being in character can be exhausting. I've done it for a very long time.
This is
Usually it's all day at FDIC and
You got to do that all day at FDIC.
all day for an
You wear the
entire week.
mustache?
Oh yeah, my upper lip is like broken
Shake.
out by the end of the week. Yeah.
Here's one for you. Your old lady ever say she wants to do Firefighter Fenton, the real Firefighter Fenton?
She is so out.
How old is that? I know.
He's got 4 kids. I mean, I'm sure somewhere. She is so out. It's so great.
So where do you want to start? You start with Firefighter Fenton? You want to start? What do we got there, guys? You got a picture coming up?
No. I mean, do you want to start with this guy
Yeah,
right
let's do
here?
that. Let's do that. Let's do that.
There are cards that get in my way.
Can you hear it okay?
Yeah.
Red and blues that say go. Guaranteed they will block the sea. You park in the middle of the road. There are cars.
Take me to the pre-show, bro. You started this. When did Firefighter? Let's talk about how it was born first.
Yeah, let's go. Sorry,
Let's go back first. Where you grew up.
Before that,
Yes.
So
I
go
wanna
all the way
know all
back.
that information.
Okay.
all right, let's go back
back.
to before you got on the job. Then you were going to be a cop.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, my dad was a Phoenix police officer for 26 years, and I was just gung-ho to follow, and he's my role model, so I was gung-ho to follow in his footsteps. And then, yeah, when I was in high school, towards the end of his career, one of his officers tragically was ambushed and shot and killed, and it hit my dad really hard. And he was like, he's like, this job is only getting worse. I've got buddies on the fire department. I want you to go ride with some of my childhood friends. So I went on a ride along with Ladder 24 and Phoenix Fire and never looked back. It was like, I always say it was like the ultimate bait and switch because it was like the greatest ride along. We had like a shooting, a stabbing, car wreck with extrication, a fire, not one lift assist, not one person covered in feces. You know what I mean?
Sucked you right in.
Oh yeah, I was like, this is
Oh,
what
man,
you
step
do.
that up.
Great. This is
Yeah, I'm
really
like-
how it is.
Yeah, it's like, you guys do this. They're like, every day it's exactly like this. I'm like, no, I'm like, you liars.
Man,
Had a
that's
good meal. You talked
Yeah.
about sports. You broke
Oh,
some
yeah.
balls. You're like, this is for me, right, bro?
that's
Oh yeah.
that story sounds very, very familiar. I mean, every
Yeah.
time we hear somebody that wants to, go to the cop side because they need heroes too, they end up coming back to to this side.
Man, I wonder if we would have had a police officer, Fenton.
Oh man, yeah.
That would have been good too. You should do something like that, man. There you go. I just gave him an idea.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. Like I said, I was gung ho to be a cop, and then did the ride-alongs. Tested for a few years, and got hired. And I got hired in 2003 as a reserve firefighter, so it was like part-time, like the extra guy in the truck. And then I got hired full-time in 2004, and been there ever since.
And that's Daisy Mountain. That's right outside of Phoenix.
Yep, Daisy Mountain Fire. Yeah, we're part of the. If you're familiar with the Phoenix area, whatever, we basically sit right on top of like the city of Phoenix, city of Scottsdale. We're like 270 square miles.
How big is the department?
We got 7 stations, 150 guys. It's all full time, all paid. We're actually just hired 19, getting ready to open another station. So
it's
growing right there.
Yeah,
you're right there with me, man. You're comparable. We're 8 down here, 8 stations, 180, 190 members right now ish, give or take a couple.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's awesome.
So, Ruffy, just in our firehouse alone, we had what, 27, 40, 50, 60 guys? 60 guys in one firehouse.
Got it.
That's
Got
awesome.
it. I got a question. Just has nothing to do with anything. How the hell did you deal? How do you deal with the heat down there? Like, how do you deal with?
Oh man,
How
it's
do you
all I've
do it?
ever known. I know it's all I've ever known. I think what definitely put it into perspective for me, I always feel like, oh God, it's 115. It's terrible. Don't get me wrong, it is terrible. But now that I've had the opportunity to go to like Chicago, like 4 times a year when it's like July, and they're like, oh, I'm like, oh, it's 90. That's not bad, but it's 90 with 100% humidity. I would take 115 with
Really?
3%
They say
humidity
all the time too.
Oh yeah,
Huh.
I never understood the dry heat until I experienced a not dry heat, and it's like I said, I always feel like I would rather be hot than cold. You can always go jump in a pool or cool
I
off.
say the same thing, bro. You can keep the cold. I'm out on the cold.
Yeah,
And when you get wet, forget it.
yeah.
No, I'm out. Out.
Sure.
I'll take that dry heat.
So
Yeah.
dry heat, and then I'm on the other spectrum too, as we've had that discussion before, man. It's the heat and the humidity down here. It's terrible, man.
That's what people like. They're like, well, what is the difference? And I'm like, that feeling like in your balls and your turnouts when it's
Everything's
just that's a
Washy feeling.
yeah. I'm like, that over your entire body is humidity. When you're cooking in the oven and you open the oven and you just feel that blast of hot, dry wind, that's Phoenix. It goes away when you get out of it, but that nastiness in your turnouts doesn't go away.
No, you can walk to the job by
You
itself.
guys,
after
you
a
guys
while.
have air conditioning in the rigs or no?
Uh-oh.
Do you have it? Do you have? Oh,
Oh, yeah,
No, all that coffee money is have good internet. What the hell, bro?
is that me?
it's him. No, it's him. It's him. So,
Oh, now we
Well-
lost the sound.
well,
We're
He's
back.
muted.
oh,
Yeah,
we're
he's
back.
good.
You're back. You're good. You're good.
For whatever reason, I touched my mic setup and it kicked me.
Oh.
So I'm not going to touch it. Anyway, I'm sorry. Where were we? I'm sorry.
Do you have air
Louis asked
conditioning in the
if
rig?
there's AC in the rigs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Every truck has AC. Every truck has AC. All the rescues have AC. That's like, if your truck doesn't have AC, you switch out into a truck that has AC because it's miserable in the summer if you don't.
So what's the difference in the summer and the winter?
Oh, I mean, our winter, it's hard to even call it a winter. It's beautiful. Like right now, it's beautiful. I mean, like right now, I think it's 60 degrees. So, but like a cold winter day here. I mean, like we're talking like high 30s. But yeah, we don't get any snow kind of where we're at. It usually snows like one time a year. It's on the ground for about 3 seconds and then it's gone. But yeah, it's awesome to run calls in the valley in the wintertime and in the summertime. Like I said, it's so hot, and we plug the shoreline in, and there's AC units on top of the cabs that automatically just to cool the cab off. And it sucks, especially if you're busy and you don't get that cab cooled off. Once the cab gets hot, it just can't keep up.
Right. So you,
That's like I was-
what? How many? You have a rescue or a squad? What do you have? Running, put.
So we have at my department, we've got 7 engines. We have a ladder truck. We have a squad, heavy rescue squad, and then our rescues in our system. Rescues are ambulances with firefighters on it. So we have 3 rescues.
Right. You have that too, right, Guns? Your rescues are ambulances.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't have a heavy rescue, but we have obviously local TRT teams we call if we need them.
So how many rigs or how many firemen get called to a phone alarm for a fire?
For us, it's 3 engines, the aerial, 2 rescues, and 2 chiefs.
And what about you?
Yeah, for us, it's the initial dispatch will be 3 engines and a ladder, the BC, and the nearest, and then actually you won't get a rescue. And then when it bounces, you'll get an additional engine, a utility truck, and a rescue. And the utility truck, they bring all the air and they bring us
Right.
Gatorade and water and all that stuff.
Where does the squad come then? When do they turn out?
So the squad, our squads are primarily only for, since we're in all hazards, they're only for hazmat and technical rescue. But they also, but they'll co-man it as well. They do have ladder functions, so they have extrication equipment, they have ladders, saws, the whole deal. So they will go to fires if it's in their due, but typically they won't call them for the squad. They'll just respond in an engine capacity.
Do you get more fires in the winter by you?
We do. We get more fires in the winter, more structure fires, I should say, in the wintertime. And typically it's, people getting careless with space heaters or candles, stuff like that. And then some of the homes are, it's not like back east, but some of the homes where we would consider they're getting older. So they're like 30 years old plus in some of the areas, and some of them are even older than that. But the older the homes, obviously, the more likely they are to burn. And
right.
But yeah, no, in the summertime for us, we get a lot of fire, predominantly wildland.
Wildfires.
Yeah.
And you guys do all that stuff too, huh?
Yeah, in our special ops division, it's wildland, hazmat, and technical rescue. And so, yeah, everybody's wildland certified. And we just did our annual refresher. We all do the annual pack test, all this stuff. And yeah, because our area is very diverse. It's 270 square miles. So on the south end, it's city, shopping malls, the whole deal, apartments, everything. And then as you get further north, you start to get larger homes, larger property, more of that wildland urban interface where you got fires ripping through homes. And yeah, it's a different tactic for sure.
You guys close enough to LA? Did you send anybody there?
We did send a truck. Yeah, that's a tricky one. California doesn't like to pay. So a lot of the states around and a lot of the departments will not send trucks to California unless it comes as a federal request. Because
right.
I went to Napa for the wildfires in 2017, and it took us like 2 years to get paid. So our department after that, they were like, we are no longer we can't send the resources if we're not going to get reimbursed all the money that we put out for 2 years.
You're not going to get this stuff right here.
I was wondering, like, what is that noise? What is that nitwit doing?
Had to make sure it was working. Had to make sure it was
working.
What? Been sitting for a little while. We didn't break it out for a little while.
Yeah. All right, so you went to, did you have an academy that you had to go to?
Yeah. So we have the so in the area, in the Phoenix metro area, we have Phoenix Regional, Glendale, and then I forget what the third one is. There's 3 that are like approved to be part of the automatic aid system.
Mm-hmm.
So
you come out of Proby School or the academy, and where you go to an engine?
Yeah. Then you go to an engine, and then you do your probationary rotation where you rotate every 3 months, and then after your first year. And then
were you in a busy place or a busier engines? And I'm sure there are, right? Like
they'll try to send now that we're hiring 19 right now, so like every one of our every truck is going to have a booter on it on every shift. And there's going to be some booter. Yeah, that's what we call it. That's what we call the probays.
Oh, yeah. Booter.
Yeah,
really?
we call them booters. So the booters are some of them are gonna have some rough rotations because they're gonna be at our slowest stations just because we need places to put bodies. And
right. How many guys ride on an engine?
Oh, here we go.
We do 4. We have
staff.
Yeah, our minimum staffing is 4. 2 paramedics, 2 EMTs. The ladders. We do as well. Some departments will do 5. Our department, we do 4 on the ladders. The squad runs 4. So 4 is the minimum standard.
So if there's a big job in Phoenix, you guys would go like to that? Is that how that would work? Like if it's big enough? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, with the automatic aid system here, I mean, it's just the closest truck regardless. Like I said, we have the same radio frequencies, same SOPs, everything. Like we all speak the same language. If we show up on a Phoenix scene and they give us an order, they know exactly what they're going to get. We know exactly what they're asking for. Vice versa. If they come in, it's nice because it removes all the nonsense. We just get to go to work. And yeah, we run into Phoenix, Scottsdale, Peoria, and then they run into our areas as well. So yeah,
big area.
Yeah,
that's nice to have everybody be on the same page, because obviously I have neighboring cities too, and everybody operates a little bit differently, even though we have some common ground. But that's nice to hear that you guys can all operate well together.
Cons, where do you get companies from then if you have something that you guys need assistance?
Well, obviously we pretty much max out our city, but we have auto aid, mutual aid, and automatic aid that'll they get put on the ticket, if you will, when something big comes in on certain parts of the. We're not to the closest unit response area, like Cap was saying, but we're trying to get to. Someday we'll be to that point, but we'll get anybody that's the closest station to where the call is coming in.
So you don't have a lieutenant, right? You have a captain. There's no lieutenant right there.
Yeah, on our trucks, it's 2 firefighters, the engineer, and then the captain. Yeah, so there's no lieutenant. I only know of like one department in Arizona that has the lieutenant role. Most everybody, it's just like it'll go firefighter, engineer, captain, battalion chief, and then on up to deputy and
you guys have that what is that, like ABC shift or whatever that is? Is that you guys run that too?
Yeah, we ABC shift, and my department does 4896. So 2 days on, 4 days off, which is awesome.
Ask if they're
right. How he's on it, bro.
When you first how long did it take you to catch your first job?
My first job, my very first job was actually when in this photo right here, I was 20. I wasn't full time there. I was a reserve, so I was the extra guy that day. I was probably 3 months into it, and we caught the first job, and it was. You can see by those 2 guys sitting back there, it was very freaking hot because it was in the middle of summer and it was on top of this freaking mountain. And yeah, it was just, I remember I was actually off of the truck at a meeting with one of the pub ed guys. They were planning some pub ed event, and all of a sudden all the pagers go off and guys are like, oh, there's a fire. And we look out, we were at this like Mexican food restaurant. We look out and we're like, holy shit, it's this big old column. And, I'm like, I'm supposed to be on that truck. So I go running out, and I just see them go ripping by code 3, and I jump in my truck and I get right in behind them. And right when I got there, that guy not the guy with the wisdom with all the gray hairs, but the other guy's name's Andy. I pulled up, and first thing he said was, get your shit on, we're going in. And I just threw all my stuff on as fast as I could, and off we went. And yeah, it was a good time. Yeah.
So you have a captain for every shift. So you're at the same shift all the time. Is that how that works?
Yep. So there's three captains at the station. Yeah, and I have the same crew, ABC shift captains, and yeah.
You studying for chief?
I never. It's funny you asked that.
Let me go. We'll go back. Let me go bring it up when you're done.
I had never had any desire to do that, and recently I had we do annual reviews, and I had recently had an annual review, and my battalion chief gave me a really good review and asked the question, have you ever considered that? And I was like, not even once. And he was just encouraging me to maybe look into that, and I have 4 kids and my youngest is 5, so I feel like I'm gonna be working forever just for benefits. So possibly, all that to say, I'm not opposed to it. We don't have any tests coming up, but
right.
I did open my acting battalion chief book.
So. That's a start.
Do you get to do that? Like they do that in New York a lot. Like they'll have a captain will act as a battalion chief. Do you guys do that too?
Yeah. So we get to, we like I said, we have that book, and there's just, there's different things that you have to complete, and you have to be evaluated and stuff like that. And so you gotta take command of certain number of, first alarm incidents or just regular 3-in-1 jobs or whatever. And then, once you get that completed, then you're signed off to like, you could work overtime and you could be the chief acting at that day. So, yeah.
Roof, you know how I know the fire department coffee is doing well? He says, "Yeah, I got to stay at least a couple more years just for the benefits." He didn't say for myself, but just for the just for the benefits.
Well, I would just assume pay was wrapped up in benefits.
I don't know, man.
Listen, Brent, you don't have to explain to nobody, Lucy. You know what I'm saying?
explain
You don't have to explain to nobody.
Nothing.
Do your thing, chicken wing.
There you go. So give me this start on how you decide to come up with Firefighter Fenton, bro, and how did that come about? You thinking one day, and then
it's a long time ago. It's over 10 years, right? It's 10.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, I started it in 2011.
Wow.
My department, we do a banquet every year. It's turned into a charity fundraiser for our firefighters charities. But we would do a banquet every year, and we still do it. And it's, they do Firefighter of the Year and all the different awards, and everybody gets up and there's lots of talking. And it was, I mean, for lack of better words, it was boring for a while. And people were just kind of like, all right, can we get done so we can get to just hanging out, drink, whatever, So our charity board was like, man, we got to do something to kind of shake the night up. It just feels kind of stale. People are, kind of seemed like if we don't change it, we're going to start losing people at this event. So I said, hey, I always loved comedy. I always loved music. I loved making people laugh. And I'd always heard, you missed your calling. And like you hear that so many times, you start to question, did I miss my calling? So,
I'm running into Bird and Villains. I can see you standing on a stage.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I could make a funny video. I had no clue what it would be. I just was like, I could make a funny video. And I was on the rescue at that time. And me and my partner, Dave, both of us are captains now, which is funny. But Dave and I we were coming back from a call. It was like 1:30 in the morning. And it was literally a knee pain call for this woman who had knee pain. She's had it for months. Nothing changed. There was nothing made it worse. It just, now's a good time to call. Everybody's asleep. Wake them up, bring them here, and of course she can't drive herself, God forbid. But so we're like, so we transport this lady. We're coming back from the hospital and we're just kind of sitting there, just watching the road, and Lady Annabellum's "I Need You Now" comes on the radio. And I just said, the chorus came on, and I said, it's 1:15, calling the 911 because my knee hurts now. And David just, he started cracking up.
Did you get that one, guys?
I do.
I started cracking up, and then, I was like,
all right,
I think this is it.
All right, you ready? Make sure we can hear it.
Yeah, I think I need to go to the hospital. My knee just started hurting.
Oh my God. The mustache has evolved. You'll see.
Okay, I'll send
This is my wife.
By the window, wondering if I should call. I bet they're probably sleeping, but I don't really care at all.
Let me see if I can go full
my
screen.
God, that's freaking awesome.
And I wonder if I ever cross their mind. Because I call them all the time. It's 1:15. I'm all alone and I need you now. Said I want
Look at the guy sleeping.
Oh my.
And I don't know how I can do without.
Ow.
I just need you now.
Another night of wishing, hoping that nobody calls. No more overdoses. I hope nobody trips and falls.
Dude, that's pretty good. That's almost better than you, Kobe.
We are the first thing on their mind. Because they call us all the time.
It's a quarter
That's
after
pretty
one.
fucking funny, man.
Calling 911 'cause my knee hurts now. No, I didn't fall. Got no complaints at all, just my knee hurts now.
No complaints at all, but my knee hurts now.
And I don't think I can drive myself, 'cause my knee hurts now.
Oh my god.
How many times in your life? How many times for this?
Oh boy. I gotta see The Arrival.
I'll give you guys a call.
It's a quarter after one. Calling 911 'cause my knee hurts now.
And I bet she didn't fall. She's got no complaints at all, just her knee hurts now.
And I don't think I can drive myself, 'cause my knee hurts now.
You good?
Yeah, it's good, man.
Dude.
That's classic, bro.
She seems pretty good, man. So do you.
She's a great singer. People will say, "Oh, you guys make a great couple." So I was like, "She makes it great. I just make it a couple." She is a great singer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you get her to do that? She had no
Coops does a lot
problem
of
doing
these
that,
little
bro?
things too. These little
Oh, she definitely had problems. My wife is more naturally an introvert, so she's very shy. And at the time, she was an ER nurse. So what was funny was, I had a fake mustache, so like I'm not getting recognized. But firefighters are bringing in patients to the hospital, and they're like, and they're telling like the patients, you should hear her sing, and she's like, yeah, thanks for that, you know. So, my wife, she's very supportive. She doesn't necessarily enjoy being in the videos as much. She doesn't like the attention, but yeah, she's a good sport.
That's great, man.
So that was the one that broke out.
Yeah. And you know what was so funny was like I made that, and it's like editing it so many times. I was like, when I first watched, I was like, this is funny. And then after the 100th time editing it, I'm like, this isn't funny. I don't think this is funny. We played it. The place erupted, which was like, holy cow. And then literally by like the next day, it had like close to 1 million views, and my YouTube channel had exploded. And then there was all kinds of drama with it too. Like I got pressure from, I mean, literally IFF and PFFA, everything like in there, like, hey, we're fighting for pensions and we're putting this out. This feels like a 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of thing. And so I took it down.
What?
I took it down. And then my fire, because I was like, I didn't understand social media.
Yeah, you were new to the whole thing.
Yeah,
too.
I could have just unpublished it. No, I deleted it. It was like gone, And then my fire chief called and was like, where'd it go? And I told him, and he's like, you know what? He's like, we deserve a laugh. He's like, you didn't say anything. He's like, you weren't like making fun of the taxpayer who's just calling. He's like, you're making fun of that system abuser. We deserve a laugh. I think it's great. He's like, the only people we got to worry about is our board. And if they're good with it, I'm good with it. Put it back up. So I put it back up, and it's just been kind of rolling ever since.
Awesome. Yeah, dude, how many times you get in the apartment, right? You're like, yeah, I smell gas. When did you smell it? This afternoon. Meanwhile, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, dude, and now you fucking call me? Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, if you had a nickel for every one of those, like, it's just comical. And then on top of the fact, I mean, we knew all the homeless people, right? Coobs, do you remember the old lady in by 288? I mean, we used to go to her 3-4 times a night, sometimes on Grand Avenue. It was just like, you knew them by name.
All the time. My first medical run was in the projects. It was chest pains. So we go to the projects, and they're like, Proby, you got it. Go out there. I'm ringing the bell. There's a guy sitting on the steps smoking a cigarette. And I'm ringing the bell. I can't get in. He goes, you here for I said, yeah, I'm here for it's me. I got a little tightness in my chest. I'm like, maybe you want to put the cigarette out, but I don't know. That's a good start.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Gabe said I smell cap. I used to say, like, they should say, yeah, I smell something. I'm like, yeah, that's not gas. That's funk. You need to get a little bleach in here, clean the place up a little bit. It's called funk, bro.
That is great. You're like, I gotta make another video, right? Was that?
Yeah, and it was funny. Yeah, like I said, I didn't know anything about social media, so I just disappeared for a year and was like, all right, we got a banquet next year. I'll make another video. And I kind of felt that pressure of like, well, I gotta hit another home run.
Yeah.
I gotta top it. I gotta
Yeah,
set the bar. And so then I made another one, and that one
not the salty, and I know it.
That's it. Yeah, that's the one I made.
Oh
the second
my
one,
God!
I made that one. I threw it out there, and that one did well too. So.
Bro, I remember watching that years ago.
We can't play that one.
Probably not. I mean, probably not, because that's like copyrighted music. But
I mean, well, yeah, I'm salty. And I know it was the second one,
bro.
And
that
I literally
was classic.
Yeah, I literally did these music videos for like 7 years straight, and it wasn't until like 2018 that somebody was like, you should really. I got a message from a guy that was like, hey, been a fan since your first video, and he's like, I really think you're missing the boat here, man. He's like, you should try and do more consistent and see if you can do it. And so I was like, in 2018, I was like, all right, I'm going to try this. And I put out one piece of content every day for the month of December, and then basically continued for a year. And it just kind of took off from there, really grew legs and really started to grow. And then here we are still doing it.
How hard is that though? Like guys think
every day is hard. Man.
I mean, think about how much to have original like even for us, like, we were doing twice a week. It's a lot to do it all the time, like to come up with original ideas and like how you had to feel that pressure, like to come up with something that people, you're not hitting a home run every time, but it's a lot of work.
I think, that was the biggest thing. You're right. It was an incredible amount of work. Obviously, my life was very different than too. I had no kids. It was just me and my wife. She was a nurse working nights. So like, I just had time. And I would just sit down, write stuff, come up with things. Did a lot of listening. I'd hear guys complaining about something, bitching about this or that or whatever. Nice. And I would just kind of like make a mental note or write it down. And then I just learned, kind of discovered that there's a fine line between like things that drive you insane and piss you off and comedy. And it's like, the line is where something that you hear somebody complaining about, it's like, I listened to what that scenario was. And I'm also like, oh, I've been there. That's annoying. Recreate those moments when they're not in there, and everybody watched and goes, oh my gosh, I've been there 1,000 times. And I feel like that's where it really connected, and it just made it relatable. And I just my brain is constantly, I got ADHD, so it's constantly rolling.
Oh, me too, bro. Dude,
I said when I talked to you the first time, I said you're exactly like Coobs. Like he'll call me or send me texts about ideas he's got and things he's doing. Like I was telling you, like in the pre-show, I know you have a pad next to your bed, because if you wake up and you're like, oh my God,
I wake up at 4 in the morning sometimes, and that's when I got my best ideas, because I'm not thinking about the kids. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm like, oh, I gotta write that down, bro, and I write it down.
I've got like a note on my phone, and it's just like, this is
God,
it's just all video ideas.
Oh my God, dude.
I'll just write, and you're exactly right. I'll wake up and be like, oh, and I'll write down an idea. And
that's a lot of ideas you got on there. Holy shit.
And it's funny. It's some of them I'll look back and I'm like, all right, let me look through my list. Like, and I'll go through, and some of them I'm like, what is that? It's just like random words, random things. I'm like, I know when I wrote it, that was really funny. Yeah. I'm like, what does that even mean?
Brent, it gets worse, by the way. As you get older, you can't remember shit.
Oh yeah.
What about the evolution of the mustache, bro?
Oh man, so in that first video, I had that big like Western style flat thing. I randomly found that at like a costume shop in downtown Phoenix. Had it for years, and then my son was born, and at some point, it disappeared. It probably landed in a toy box somewhere. It disappeared. Couldn't find it, and then I went on the hunt, and I found the one that I have now, and it picked me. Yeah, there it is.
You know what, bro? That looks like it could be real too. It doesn't look like it could be. It's phony. That's hysterical.
For a little while, I thought it was real. No bullshit.
I did too. That's why when he came on, I go.
I mean, the way it is right up to your nostril too, right? I mean, it's just like, would you shave your mustache off? Well, I'm like, no, you maniac.
That was like a raccoon laid across his lip, bro.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty funny though how you look like a totally different person with that thing. Like it's like you don't even look like the same guy with that thing.
And when he makes that, when he goes with the cat.
So hold on. Just so I know, because I didn't, like I said, I didn't watch all. So you get the voice too with that. When you get that, you get the voice.
Yeah, when the mustache comes out, it's just a whole different persona. You know?
It's a whole persona.
Yeah,
like it's like a switch.
Yeah, that's right. It's the whole thing. You know, you get the come on, morons. You know, it's the whole deal. It's But no. So when people realize that it's not real, you know, it blows their minds. And I take it off, and I'm like,
it just goes away. It's
You look like a totally different person without that mustache.
I never believed in the whole Clark Kent thing until this happened, and I was like, okay, a pair of glasses.
You're like, everybody's gonna know that Superman. It looks like fucking Superman, bro. But just the glasses.
I'm telling you right now, if he didn't have that FDC shirt on and he was walking past you, you wouldn't even know that's the guy.
No. Nope.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to know if you it had its own special case. Where do you keep that thing?
Oh man,
They're probably lying all over the house.
4,000 of them.
They are. They're all over the house. My kids will randomly run up with one on, and whatever. I got photos all that. Yeah, they're everywhere.
How old is your oldest one?
11.
So does he know? Does like people say, "Oh, your dad is the Firefighter Fenton guy"?
Oh yeah, it's funny because I don't think they really understand it. To me, to them, I'm just dad, but they, especially my 11-year-old, he loves the whole process of making the videos. He loves watching, and like in any of my videos, if you ever see me getting hit with something, sprayed with something like that, it's always my 11-year-old on the other side of the camera doing it. He loves it, and he'll sit right next to me and help me edit, set up the camera. He loves the whole process of it. So it's been really cool. But it's so funny because and like I will get recognized and people will come up and say hi and whatever, and they're like, was that one of your friends? And I'm like, I don't know who that person was. There's a very nice person that came up and said hi, but I'm all, that's somebody that watches daddy's videos. And they're like, that's so crazy. And I'm like, it really is. I don't know how it happened, but it did. But it's fun. It's really cool.
What I want when I was thinking about it before, how did the guys in the department feel about it? Like, do you have any pushback on some of the guys, or is everybody 100% behind it? Or
yeah, you know what? Everybody has been. I feel very, very blessed because everybody has been super supportive. Everybody in my department has really. I mean, it really put the department on the map, and like it's everybody loves. Like if I'm there, if I'm going to film, I'll have guys that I work with join in or whatever, and everybody they're either really supportive. They want to be in the videos, or it's just cool because people will be like, "Oh, you work at Daisy Mountain? Hey, that's where Fenton works." And they're like, "Oh yeah." And it's just cool. It's a cool connection. They get to, but it's been, I've been very blessed with just being supported through all the ranks. I mean, from the fire chief down to new people. I mean, it's funny. I've been on interview panels. I wasn't on this most recent panel, but interview panels, and people walk in and they see me in my class A and they see the name badge and they're just like, oh my gosh,
that's the guy.
Yeah. So, but it's been really well received. And across the valley for the most part, very well received. And just in general, there are a few that I've run into, people that I would call friends that they're not about it. They think it's unprofessional and whatever, but I'm like, hey, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I know that. It's whatever.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we had pushback too on some stuff too. I mean, you still get somebody who says, what happens here stays here. We get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you're never going to please everybody anyway. I mean, you still have to do your thing anyway.
Turn the channel, bro. That's all I say. Turn the channel. So when you became captain, did you get all new like ideas and material? And now that you're not a fireman, that you're actually leading guys, did you have?
There's definitely I've gotten some more new ideas. The captain dynamic definitely changed things in terms of like filming. Just because like before, like I didn't really do a ton of filming on shift, but I would do some when I was a firefighter. But now it's like I don't do it at all when I'm not as a captain, because it's like I can't be like, hang on, we'll go pull a hose in a minute. I got to finish this video. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So, but it definitely opened a whole nother perspective. It's one of those things like you don't know what you don't know. And my perspective is opening up even more with this battalion chief book. I'm learning more and more. And I'm like, oh, here's a whole nother field of material.
You better open up another one of those note pages on your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy wants to know if your son wants to be a fireman.
My youngest is all about it. My oldest, he isn't really like against it right now. He really wants to do video. He's like, he doesn't necessarily want to do like YouTube. He just wants to make videos. He's really into, you guys know what stop motion is? Like where you're taking the photos, individual photos, and it turns it into
right. They stick them all together. Yeah.
Yeah. He's really, really into, I showed him
all the kids are good at that. All the kids are good at that. My daughter's good. I mean,
yeah. I was getting a tutorial from my 12-year-old today on CapCut. I'm like, not that you gotta do this. I flip around. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I showed him how to do a stop motion, and now he's like enamored with. He's like, wait, I can like make the Lego movie, but like my own. I was like, yeah, you could, and he just goes with it and sends me these little videos, and it's hilarious. So I'm encouraging him with that.
That's awesome.
So tell us about how you got together with Jason and got involved with the fire department coffee.
Yeah, so like I said, I started making the videos in 2011, probably somewhere around 2015, 2017, somewhere in there. Jason and I were kind of connecting over social media. Just, hey, man, seen your videos, funny stuff. We should connect. And it just kind of lots of talking, but with us being on opposite ends of the country and everything like that, it just kind of never connected. And then in 2020, Jason reached out again and was like, hey, man, I'm involved with Fire Department Coffee. I'm the vice president. Loved your videos for years. And we like to make that's what we do is make funny fire department videos, and we want to make more. And we'd love for you to come out. And so they flew me out to Rockford, and we made like 3 videos, and it was a blast. It was freaking freezing. It was like one day we made a St. Patty's Day video. It was February. It was 17 degrees, and we're spraying each other with smoothbores. Like, what are we doing? And and the water's dyed green because it's the St. Patty's Day video. And but it was a blast. And I came back from that trip, and like a day later, Jason and Luke and the owners of Fire Department Coffee, they called and were just like, hey, you're one of us. We would love to have you join the team. And so, we all jumped in, and it's been a blast. It's been a great time ever since.
That's everybody who's involved in the coffee right there.
Yeah. So there's a bunch, in this particular photo. That's Jason. And then that's Lukeson. That's next to Jason. That is the brother of Luke, who is the owner of, Fire Department Coffee. Me, Randy, that's Lance.
I talked to Randy a lot, actually. I've talked to Randy quite a bit at the show. Yeah, he's a great dude, man.
Randy's the best. I love Randy. So, and then Lance and Natalie, and then there's also Josh, Natalie's boyfriend. Josh, he's a Rockford guy. He's
same guys. Okay.
Super. Yeah, Josh is like you see him in the videos. He's super tall.
Oh no. Okay.
And
well, while we're on Fire Department Coffee, really quick, tell me about this.
Oh yeah, our Rescue One. Yeah, so we've got the Fire Department coffee truck. We use that as like a disaster relief truck. We've sent it out. We sent it to North Carolina when they had all the flooding and all the damage from the hurricane.
Oh,
yeah, and we actually sent it out to LA for the fires. And the coolest thing about this, so this was Randy's child. This was his idea that he birthed. He had this idea that he wanted to have like a response truck that would go out to these natural disasters and just provide assistance. A warm cup of coffee. We have blankets. You can see in there blankets. We have commercial washer and dryer, so we can do laundry for people. It has on-demand water heaters. We have saws. We have charging systems. We have a whole deployable shelter that comes out of the back that we can get people out of the elements. We can heat that and cool that as well. We have, it's just every time I see the truck, there's something new added to that.
It's cool.
And it was, and it was awesome. It was donated by Rosenbauer. So it was so cool.
The electric rig, all electric?
No, this one's diesel. It's a diesel. Yeah. But we have ways for people to charge their phone. So it's been so cool. And it seems like every time it responds, we find a new way that truck can be used, and Randy's just adding to this thing. And, the dream would be to have like a fleet of these that we can send out, to multiple locations. And, but it's just so cool because it's kind of identified the need that not only are we it's been really helpful with, the people who've been affected, but this has been really helpful for the people who are out there responding, like the line workers and even the firefighter, all the people who are out there, responding to the emergency. They're coming in and, we got these line workers that are like, dude, we've been going for 24 hours straight and you showed up with a hot cup of coffee.
Awesome.
And they're like, holy cow. Or I've been out here for 3 days and you're like, here you go, throw your stuff in the laundry. We do it real quick. Now you got clean clothes, you got coffee, your cell phone's charged, and you just kind of feel like a little bit of normalcy for a little bit. So
who's manning that thing?
So Randy goes out a lot. Randy will go out a lot. And then we have a few other people that will just kind of deploy with it and they'll drive it to these different areas, and they're volunteering, and it's great. It's really
Where's it stationed? In Florida?
In Rockford, at our
Ellie?
The headquarters, Fire Department Coffee. Yep.
How did they start Fire Department Coffee? What was their story?
So Luke Schneider, Luke was, he's a Navy veteran and was also on, Rockford Fire Department. Him and his wife, Kate was a coffee connoisseur, and, Luke and her started to, roast their own blends, roast their own beans, and, just kind of came up with their own thing. And he was doing that and bringing it to, it was called something separate. And they had like a, Fire Department coffee like line, if you will, and there was really only a couple lines, but it was like, and so he was making this, and guys, and guys from the department were like, man, this is really good. And then it started getting more and more popular with guys, and like, you should sell this whole deal. And they had a small little space, like a little rental in a strip mall, and roasting their own things, and then they rebranded to Fire Department Coffee, and it's just kind of grown ever since and just blown up.
So what's your role there?
So for me, I'm basically I help out with the social media, like with the content creation, brand ambassador, if you will. And we make all the videos. I see somebody said K-Cups. We do have K-Cups. Yep, we do have K-Cups.
It's good coffee.
It's
really good coffee. He sent me a bunch.
Oh, he sent you some? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, well, that's nice.
That's good.
I'll get Randy.
Got him right there, guys.
I'm going to get Randy on that.
Maybe he didn't like you. Maybe it wasn't me. Maybe it was you. Stop doing this. Maybe you got to do that.
I always do this. That's always
the deflection right there, Gons. Okay, he's doing a little deflection.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Oh shit! I forgot my next question.
Yeah, sorry. Totally
ruined it to me. I had some old shitty coffee. I'll just drink this. Right
let's see some of the pictures. Let's see some of
the water. Let's take it back just a little bit, because he's got something pretty special here.
Yep.
I can't even believe that's you. I can't even believe that right now.
I know.
That is a young me. That is, This was back when my department's Class A's looked like we were bag boys at Bashas or like the grocery store. It was terrible, freaking terrible. My sister's department also had that. Like us, Phoenix, Glendale, we all had the same, and they were awful. I mean, awful. And then we finally got with the program, and now we look, respectable.
Well, we have.
So your sister's a firefighter where?
She is. She works for Glendale Fire Department in Glendale, Arizona. So she is an engineer on ladder 152, and
she's a truck chauffeur.
It's coming.
Drives it like she stole it.
And she's got 11 months on more than me.
And let you know it all the time, of course.
Oh yeah. And she has April 1st will be 22 years for her. She's already 2 years into the drop. She did 20 and dropping for 5. She'll be 25 when it's all said and done. And we both were the first two to break into the fire department. Everybody else in our family was all cops. My dad has 3 brothers, and 2 of his 3 brothers were police officers as well. So yeah. And they all said, good job. You guys made the right choice. So
yeah. Your sister have kids?
She does. She has 2 daughters, and then her husband is also a firefighter. He's on a heavy rescue on Glendale, heavy rescue 159.
You always got to go for the rescue guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he's been there for 30 years. I think he's in the drop as well. I think when it's all said and done, he'll have 32 years.
So do they get it all the time? Hey, is your brother?
Oh yeah. Well, you know what's funny is
God.
because her last name's different now. So people, you know, she'll get new people or whatever, and somebody will say, "Oh man, I saw your brother's video," and you guys are like, "Wait, what?" She's like, "Yeah, that's my brother." Like, you gotta be kidding me. So I've FaceTime with her and be like, "Hey, moron!" Like when she's talking to her probies or whatever, you know, like, "Go clean the truck. What are you doing?" You know,
so the no, she's not.
That's not her friend.
You knew it was coming.
Behave
You thought it was going to be me.
I know it was
Behave
coming.
yourself.
I knew it was coming.
Behave yourself, gentlemen.
So the voice, did the voice start right away too? Was that part of the original character, the voice, or that morphed?
So yeah, no, the voice. You know, it's funny. So when the whole character came about, that character actually has a name before it was the Firefighter Fenton. It was Captain Rocolati, and at the time, my captain was Salati. And Salati, great captain, blast to work with. Darren, he's from Jersey, and his accent is kind of there, but it really comes out when he gets mad. And we would say, turn on his dad voice, you know, we'd be doing something like, "I knock it off." And you're like, "Oh, dad's back," you know, whatever. So
that's home.
And he had a big mustache. And so I got that big mustache, and I didn't do the Jersey. Mine's kind of like a Boston something.
Somebody said that. A little bit
New
of
England, yeah, it's like a New Englandish accent, whatever. And I was just like, you know, he'd be like, "Knock it off." I'm like, "You knock it off, huh?" You know, I'd be going back and forth and joking around. And, "Knock it off, man." But that's kind of how that character, it just turned into a thing. But yeah, when the mustache comes on, it's like a switch flips.
His whole face changes.
Like, oh, it does. He looks more serious. He has a serious face. Yeah,
that's crazy.
So yeah.
All right, so we go back to the pictures here. We got obviously your first wildland fire.
Yeah,
it's a bright yellow shirt. It's almost as bright as the fire.
Yeah, that's how you know it was. Yeah, that was my very first deployment, very first night. We got put on night shift, which is always fun. And yeah, one of the guys was like, "All right, get out there. I'm going to take your picture." He's like, "This is a good one." So we went out there, took the photo, and that shirt has never been that clean since.
But what's harder, do you think, for you in your mind, like going to a house on fire or going to one of these things like this?
You know, they're just two complete. I think they're both equally as hard. It's just two completely different beasts. You know, like a good working structure fire is a lot of work. And the same thing is, I think the difference is a good working structure fire is more of a sprint. These are more of a marathon. They have their sprinting moments, but you just have the tactics are so different. I mean, you're definitely extremely aggressive and running and gun when the fire is moving through houses, when it's like an urban interface or there's, you know, life safety. When life safety is threatened, we're going to take the risk. We're going to do what we got to do. And a lot of times what you got to keep in mind in the wildland world is a lot of times your goal isn't necessarily to put that fire out. It's just bump it past, get it past these people, or we call it, like, you know, prep and return. So we'll get people out, try and prep their property real quick, let the front of the fire, you know, and then go to a safe area and let the fire hit the structure and then come back and put it out real quick, that kind of thing. But it's just different. You know, it's a lot of hiking, carrying heavy equipment for a long hour. I mean, it's 16-hour days, and you don't always have water with you. You know, sometimes it's literally just digging a line, scratching it down to bare dirt, you know.
Cutting those lines are no joke, man. I just did training wise.
Yeah,
it is
right there.
Tell you what.
Yeah.
How often do you get those over there?
Oh, well, now it seems like it never ends. It's wild. Like literally, I just got off shift this morning, and we had a fire. What is today? I don't even know. Today is Monday. We had a fire on Saturday, and they have these, they call them red flag warnings, and like red flag warnings typically don't hit till like the middle of the summer and basically what that means is you're going to have high winds and single digit humidity. And so the probability, and with increased temperatures, so the probability of like an ember landing on something and starting a fire is basically 100%. So it's like, expect extreme fire behavior. I mean, and it was March 1st and we're fighting a brush fire. It's like, what are we doing? So, but in the summer, especially, like everybody out here always talks about 2020. 2020 was every single day. Every single day you'd be on a fire and you'd be out there for, this was one of them. This was the East Desert fire. This fire ripped through. We were the first truck on scene. This was definitely a shitting and getting moment when we first, this is obviously after everything had kind of died down, but We responded. We actually saw the calm before it got dispatched, and we started going. And I was driving that day, and there was only 3 of us on the engine because we had the threat for a wildfire was so bad in 2020 that we had brush trucks with us everywhere we went. So we had our 4th guy just following us on the brush truck. And we get into this area, and it was just wild. We pulled down this road, and we get a call. The alarm, we told them we're doing a check smoke, and then they started saying, all right, we're getting a bunch of phone calls. Here's the address. We go there, and there's this guy, and he's like laying on the ground with like 1,000-yard stare in his face and blood all over his face and fire all around him. And so we're like, what the freaking heck? So we jump out, get the fire out around him and see if he's okay. And then realize, this fire's moving, and now it's going towards that house. So we realize his family's coming, his buddy's coming to get him. So we're like, get out of here. We take off, we go, and we bump it past the next house, and just kind of blows up. That thing turned into like a 3rd alarm fire or whatever. And we didn't lose any structures in that fire, which was awesome. We were able to bump it all past. But then literally 2 weeks later, we had a fire on the other side of that mountain, in this town of Cave Creek. And Cave Creek is a very, very wealthy area. Lots of celebrities live there, the whole deal. And the fire came ripping through there. And the winds came from a way they don't normally come and burned down like 20 houses.
Wow.
And like the cheapest house was probably $2 million. I mean, we're talking big homes. And that was a wild year. And it's just so many fires. I think in 2020 we burned, so we covered 270 square miles, and we burned something like 30,000 acres in there with just, it's just wild.
I just seen yesterday they got fires going on in South and North Carolina right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Todd's asking about tractor plows. You ever use them in the wildland in Arizona?
We do. So we don't so like the feds, the state land, state fire, they'll have like contracts with people that come out. But I can tell you what, we've had some fires ripping through some of the houses in some of our more, like I said, the more urban areas where the people live on, acreage, and those things. If you see somebody who knows how to operate a tractor and they come ripping into your scene, some guys will be like, no, get out of here. I'm like, no, let that guy in here. Because
it's a resource, man.
Yeah, we'll cut line, and it takes time to get boots on the ground cutting line, and these guys can do a line completely around a fire in minutes. And the fire, oh yeah, and it's like as long as they cut that line around, I've been on a fire where I was like, oh God, this is going to be a multiple alarm, and out of nowhere, this good old country boy shows up on this tractor and just hammer down, rips a line around it, and that fire, we kept it to like 3 engines. Was it?
He ain't lying. Why does the department buy one then? Why do they wait for the feds?
Just because I think the money and just the operators. I think
this is certain skill set. LA has bulldozers, if I'm not mistaken. Did I not see them on the news? I can't remember if I did or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was.
Well, they do the same thing. Bulldozers that cut the lines obviously keep the fire from jumping to the clean vegetation, if you will.
Yeah. Those dozer lines. Those dozer operators too. Those guys are wild too. I've seen those guys out on wildfires. They got that big hook on the back.
Yep.
Those guys will just bury that hook in the ground and drive that thing off a cliff. And you're like, that dude is insane. And there's fire burning right up against the side of it. No AC in that thing, and they just go after it. And it's like, wow. But they get it done.
Hard charge.
I didn't even know that was something.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's we haven't done little things down here. Bombardiers, our wildland department of forestry, we call them down here, now has airboats for the Everglades and stuff like that now. So that's a new addition of resources for them.
You guys get those like mangrove fires that burn like all year because you can't get to them, right?
Yeah, in the Everglades, sometimes they just let them burn. We're actually, my city borders the Everglades, so I can't tell you how many times right over the expressway that's there where the massive fires. It doesn't jump the line. We'll just, if we have to get called, we'll go and kind of stand by. For the most part, it doesn't jump the levee, but numerous people call because it gets that close to the line, and we just let it burn. Those guys don't give a rat's ass. It's burning on top of the water.
Yeah,
for the most part out there. So
Show some more pictures. What do you got, guys?
Gotcha. Let me go. Let's go to, you know what? We jumped all around. We talked about Captain. This is a special one here, right?
Yeah. So that's my dad. Yep. That's
Wow,
Pete.
cool.
That's the OG funny Fenton. That's the guy who's actually funny. He's hilarious. Pete, my dad.
Your dad?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's hilarious. So he did 26 years with Phoenix PD, retired as a sergeant, and then he got to pin me when I got promoted to captain. So that was a cool moment.
Nice.
So yeah.
All right, and last we have a couple of we'll go through crew picks.
Yeah. There's the boys. Yep. So that's so next to me is Alec, and then with the helmet, that's my engineer Garrett, and then Steve, he's the senior firefighter. Alec just got his medic, so now he's on a different truck. We got another guy, his name is Alex. But kind of a funny thing is that Captain Salati, the one that Rocolati character is after, Alec, the guy who's next to me, is his youngest son.
Really?
So it's pretty wild. I've known Alex since he was like 5. So it was wild. He used to come to the stations and we'd hang out with him and play catch and the whole deal. And then he was my backseat firefighter for a couple of years.
Different in every single picture you take. What is going on?
Coobs, I know Coobs is going, which guy is him?
I was at first. I'm like, this guy's like a spy or something. He's different in every freaking picture.
So that was this picture was just after a fire and it was raining. So that's why. But yeah.
So you guys you're always with the same guys all the time.
Yep. Yeah, always with the same crew. Yep.
Yeah.
So
I blew this one up a little bit, got a little bit closer.
There you go.
And I actually
the guy over on the right's the senior guy.
The guy on the right he's the senior firefighter. Yeah. So
how much time does he have?
Well, I'm the most senior guy in the truck, but as far as the senior firefighter, Steve's got, what is he at? 19 years now. So he's at 19 years. He's a firefighter medic. And then Garrett, the engineer on the left, we hired him at 19 and he's coming up on 11 years. And then Alec, he's the low guy, right? Low guy on the truck, at least. He's got
Bob.
Yeah, I think he's got 5 years.
Bob.
So yeah.
Nice. I briefly showed this one before, one of your earlier ones in the engine company, and we'll at least get it up on here so you can see it.
Yeah, that was this is like 2009-ish or something like that. Yeah, this so the guy on the far left, that's Jay. He's retired now. He's actually a chief in Farmington, New Mexico. And then Josh in the middle. The shortest guy is Josh. He's a captain. Myself, and then the guy next to me, that's Nate. He's a captain at my station he's the fit on the BC ride, so like the aide on the battalion chief ride.
It looks like he got some branches in his helmet.
Yeah, we were I think that's actually a tree behind him.
But I was looking like, is that branches on his head?
No, we just actually that was a good fire. Actually, we had that was a room and contents fire at probably 5 in the morning. We got there and it was just blowing out of this bedroom window, and we got there and we forced the door and it was just thick, nasty black smoke like all the way down the floor. And I remember, and we go crawling in, we make the corner around the hallway, and you could see where the fire was coming out a little bit, and you kind of saw that like fingering of smoke. I was like, uh-oh. And it was getting real hot. I was like, this is gonna flash.
Yeah.
So, penciled that smoke a bit, it lifted a little bit, and we went down there, and Jay busted down the hallway, did a quick search. There was nobody in the rooms, and then so we just hit it real quick, and then but that was a good fire. That was a lot of fun that day. And we the funny thing about this photo was we had a newer guy, but so this area where this house is at, there's no hydrants. So we had a water tender, and this new guy was on the rescue, and he jumped off the rescue and brought the water tender, and he was so bummed out because he hadn't had a good fire yet at all. And here we get this great fire, and we're like, hey Dave, can you take our picture? Just a little salt in the wound.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I actually had a question. Here it is.
Yeah, I was gonna get to it after the
question for Brent. You involved in any preventative measures in regards to forest management?
We're not like officially, we just in our district, we just, we teach people about defensible space, and we'll do like threat assessments on their house to see ways that they can improve, and make a lot of videos about different things like that. But there's lots of politics with forestry management. I will say Arizona does it very, very well. Very, very well. But there are some areas in our district, like we have some washes that are right behind houses that are just insanely, if we get a fire going through there, it's going to be ugly, but they're like managed by the Army Corps of Engineers, and trying to get It's like,
Yeah,
don't
you
touch
can't do nothing. Yeah,
don't touch that. Yeah. So yeah.
All right.
So yeah.
If you say so.
And just a community involvement little pick here, a little bit entertaining the kids.
Yep.
Future firefighters right there.
Yep. Just after a natural gas leak, and we were just saying hi to the kids.
So what's on what's in the future? What do you got? What's the plan for the business? What's the plan for yourself? Where are you heading?
You know, I'm going to continue to make the funny videos. I love doing that. That's my passion. You know, I love comedy. I love music. I love making the videos. I love making people laugh. So I'm going to just continue to do that. And, you know, I've got a couple little wild hairs, dreams that I'd like to do. You know, I've kind of kicked around the idea of like, you know, my kids love this stuff. So I've kicked around the idea of doing like a kid's book or something like that. And then with Fire Department Coffee, we're just going to continue to make good coffee and,
guys are rolling, man.
Rolling out there, baby. I was just gonna ask that one, bro. Have you ever spoken in that voice over the radio or at a job or something?
Maybe even by accident.
Yeah. I have. I've done it. I've done it. You know, and you know what's funny is like when we get these like,
how can you not? I mean,
how
can you not?
It's like when I know like somebody's working command or whatever. And then the funny thing is like our alarm room. So the Phoenix Regional Dispatch Center, they dispatch for like 28 cities. So, and they all know too, which is kind of cool. They like, I'll get messages on the MCT while we're driving around, like, you know, what up, you know, Salty or something like that, you know, and so, and it's just funny. And I'll always like, so my department, we run snake calls, which is, we get a lot of rattlesnakes. We get lots of rattlesnakes and all kinds of ridiculous things.
Yeah.
And, you know, so we get these ridiculous calls. So I've taken command of snake calls. Just the other day, this was kind of a funny story. The other day, I did the voice. I did a full like blue card, like on scene report, and we got dispatched to. We were actually doing a night drill, and a fire kicked out right down the road. So we just bounced out, took off to it. We get there. It came out as a unknown fire on the side of the freeway. We roll up. It's like one of those Mother Mary,
the
candles.
half shell. Yeah,
the little
Mary on a half shell.
Mary on a half shell.
Yeah, candle. Somebody lit a little memorial where somebody died on the side of the freeway.
Yeah.
And we pull up, and I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me!" So I'm like,
"Oh, they ain't kidding."
Yeah, I'm like, engine 142 to alarm. I'm like, you know, we're on scene of a single candle with an obvious working fire. We're like, this whole deal, dude. The whole thing will be I-17 command, and the alarm room is they repeat it right back to you, and you can hear in the background people laughing the whole thing.
Laughing in the background.
Firefighter walks up, he's all, you know, and just puts it out. It's just like,
you ever think about doing stand up?
Yeah, I have definitely thought about it. I've got some random notes in my thing of what I would say, but that's a whole nother beast. Man.
Oh man, it is.
That is, man. You watch comics.
It sounds really good.
Stuff's got
right
a roll,
now.
man.
Right. It sounds really good right now, but like, let's say you had a gig tomorrow, like, and you had to, you know, an hour before, you have to be nervous. Like there has to be
for
some
sure.
like stress. And if you show any of that, like you could tell, like, you know, I've been to comedy shows. I'm sure you've been to a lot of comedy shows too.
Oh yeah,
that's always tell that when the guy is new and when the guy has the confidence that he has the goods, and it, you know, although I don't know,
doing it live is different. You create a video, you throw it out there. If it's not that funny, what happened? But if you bomb on stage live,
that's right.
When people are interacting with you,
uncomfortable feeling that you have.
You got to have all your rebuttals quick. Like you got to have.
You got to be fucking. Just got to roll. If that doesn't work, move on to the next thing. You got to, you know.
You feel bad. The audience. I've seen guys bomb, and I'm like, oh my god, I feel bad for this guy. He's terrible.
Oh yeah, I've done a lot of like research on and just like studying different things on like the art of stand-up comedy and all these things, and and it's like it's just instant feedback. Yeah, like you hit something that doesn't hit, and you're like, cricket. Yeah, exactly. And every amazing comedian says you have to have those bombs if you want to be good. You're gonna have to just
you got to go through it.
Yeah.
I just watched this one the other day. It's like the second time it popped up, and he's on stage. I don't know who he is. I think he's an English guy, and a guy yells from the crowd, "When does the comedy start?" And he goes like this. He goes, "Oh, when does the comedy start? He goes, what's your name? So the guy's like, my name's Rack. He's like, you mean like shoe rack? Right. So he's like, okay, Rack. So this is the deal. And he starts to, you know, that this is already pre-planned, right? Like he has this in case anybody takes a shot at him. Yeah. This is his rebuttal. And he's like, I kind of feel bad for you because you paid all this money and you came here and it wasn't funny for you, right? So you've learned a valuable lesson. The lesson is life's not fair, right? And he goes, I'll give you another example of how life's not fair. He goes, like, if a guy sleeps with lots and lots of women, he's a stud, he's a player, you know, he's admired, right? He goes, but in the same token, if a woman sleeps with a lot of men, she's Rack's mom, right? And he hits it like he just like hits it perfect, and the crowd goes crazy, right? And I mean, it was a little bit longer than that, but like it's just a perfect way that you have to have all. And you know, I think over time, if you know, we knew a couple of guys in our firehouse that actually did stand up, and we used to go, and some of them were good, some of them, you know, but.
Yeah, there's it's one thing to be witty, and then it's one thing to be able to write good jokes.
Correct.
Like, yeah, I mean, and I feel like you gotta if you're gonna be good, you gotta be both. You gotta be razor sharp wit, and you gotta be able to.
I used to say the guy in the firehouse. I thought you were a comedian, bro. I mean, you're terrible in the firehouse. I mean,
you know what, Aaron? You know what's funny is you could be funny, but when you know, he used to try and write jokes, and you know, like tell him to, and guys would be like this.
Yeah,
freaking kidding me? That is so bad.
Yeah.
Like it's just so different writing a joke as opposed to, like you said, being funny and you know as things are happening. You know, like really funny. You know?
I think he was neither actually.
See, that's funny. The truth is funny. Like saying something that's true that people know is true.
That's why his stuff works, man. It's
exactly.
Firemen know.
Yeah.
Have you ever had anybody outside the fire service come to you to ask you to write for them, or you know?
Yeah, I've had people ask, you know, hey, you know, trying to do this thing. You have any ideas or whatever? But yeah, it's that's the thing is like, especially with like fire department coffee, most of our stuff has nothing to do. A lot of our stuff has nothing to do with the fire service. It's just coming up with funny ideas, and Jason's phenomenal at writing scripts. Josh,
oh dude, he is funny. That dude
Josh writes a lot of scripts too. Josh is really funny too, and it's just, and there's another guy, Brad, who works for Fire Department Coffee. Brad's behind the scenes. Brad's the one that does all the logos. He's our graphic designer. He's awesome, and that guy, he's the guy that Jason and I, Josh, we will call, like, we got an idea, we talk about it, you call Brad, you always call Brad, because Brad would just like put that cherry on top. Like Brad, like, oh, I like that. And you always feel really proud if Brad is dying laughing and he's like, that's good, you know. But if Brad, you know, but he's really, really funny. Jason's fun. And it is cool to be able to call each other, because he'll call me, hey, I got this idea, I'm thinking this, what do you think? And I do the same thing. Hey, I got this idea, whatever, blah, blah. And Jason,
and you're honest. If you don't like it, you say, I don't like it.
Yeah. We're definitely honest, or like kind of like, you know, we've had ideas for videos and something just even in just like culture has happened or whatever, and it's kind of like, that is a hilarious video. Maybe pin that for like a month or two, because right now it'd be really bad if we posted that or something like that, you know. And it's just with different things. Like we had some funny videos that we were poking fun at ourselves as firefighters, but it was like the LA fires were everywhere, and we're like, we should probably wait until all that timing. Exactly. Yeah. So
very nice.
I think Patty's reaching now. Kevin could be a stand-up if he came out as an Oompa Loompa. Come on. He's reaching now.
He's reaching for sure.
He's reaching.
I think it's important to have a bunch of guys. You know, a lot of times it's just Kevin and myself. Like if we have something, you know, just two guys, you know, we're kind of different styles. So it's kind of tough, you know, for us sometimes. But, you know, if you have got, you know, a bunch of people to bounce stuff off of, that can, you know, most of the time that's probably a little bit better.
Yeah, it's good. And, you know, it's funny too. It's like talking about all this, like just with being funny and different things. Like, I always tell this story. Like I feel like people sometimes forget, like it's a character. Like I'm actually a you know, I'm not on 100% of the time. Like I can be funny, but like, you know, it is a character. And I actually went on a podcast, the very first podcast I was ever on. they introduced me like, this is going to be the funniest podcast you've been on. You guys are gonna die laughing. We have the Firefighter Fenton, the funniest guy. And they're like,
do it and go.
I'm like, thank you so much for having me,
Yeah.
And it was funny, but it kind of felt like I always use the analogy like that movie Finding Nemo with the clownfish, and the one fish is like, hey, you're a clownfish. You're funny.
Say something funny. Yeah.
I'm like,
something funny.
Put me on a spot.
Yeah.
Definitely.
For sure.
What else you got, guys? Any more picks? What do we
That's
got?
it. That's everything, buddy.
That's it.
The only pick I had was about the coffee that I pulled up with the different types of coffee. I didn't know if you were going to talk about that again, so I just grabbed that.
Oh
pick.
yeah. We've got a bunch of different kinds. We have in this photo, it's got a little bit of evolve. We've got our espressos in the ends, and then the medium roast is the red bag. That is the one that built the company. That medium roast, and then that white box is the vanilla bean bourbon. So we have a whole line we have a whole line of spirit infused coffees. You can get some of them in, like, we're in all Walmart, so you can get them at Walmart. But the full line is on our website, and it's pretty cool that it's like we infuse the coffee. Yeah. So we got the Irish whiskey and we infuse the beans, and then when we roast them, it burns off all the alcohol. So it's safe to drink at work. So
beautiful. Look at that.
Are you guys doing that? Is that done, in Illinois? Is that done there, or where is that done?
Yep. Yeah. Everything is done in-house. Yep.
That's awesome.
So
I drink coffee morning, noon, and night. Do I get it like maybe a discount code if I go on the website or something?
You got like a family discount,
something like more, you know what I'm saying? A little something.
That didn't take long.
I got to reach out to Randy because he's my guy that I go to. Randy, be like, hey, send these guys. Yeah, Randy's great, but yeah.
Don't worry, Lou will send his. That's all right.
He'll share.
Yeah, he's into sharing.
He'll share.
So do we sum up?
If I send it to Coobs and he sends it to you, you'll get it in like fucking 6 months.
It might be stale by then.
He's doing a lot of pivoting tonight, bro. He's doing a lot of Matrix tonight. You know what
Who's
I mean?
that?
Rookie. Holy Christ! Everything that comes his way.
The fire department way, right, Brent?
Yeah, that's the way.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, did we decide on an old school tip of the day? Was he going to do an old school tip of the day?
Yeah, I mean, I can do one.
Yeah, all right. We got to cue you up. Hold on.
Okay.
It's time for.
It is time for. Wait. Here we go. The old
school tip of the day. Oh, he's going to do it. It's Fenton.
Hold on. There we go.
All right, listen up, morons. Old school freaking tip of the day, all right? When I was young, I wasn't as big a moron as you guys, but when I was young and dumb on the department, now I'm just old and dumb, was one thing my dad taught me. He always said, keep an open mind and a closed mouth, because the last thing you want to be is that guy. And he used to say that age-old adage, what is it? It's better to stay silent and thoughtful than to open your mouth and remove all, what is that? All wonder?
Doubt.
All doubt. That's right. See, I'm still a moron. But anyway, I shouldn't even said it. I should have stayed silent. But no, old school tip of the day. Keep an open mind. For you new guys, keep an open mind and a closed mouth, all right? You can learn something from every single person that you come in contact with. I feel like I gotta be serious. No. You can learn something from every person you come in contact with, whether it's a guy that's got 30 years on, 20 years on, 10 years on. If it's a good leader, a poor leader, you can learn just as much from the bad leaders, from the turds on the departments, as you can from the guys that are doing it right, because you always want to leave it better than you found it. And you always want to, I always felt like I learned a lot from some of the poor captains that I've had of what I didn't want to be when I became a captain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or what you don't want to do.
And what I don't want to do. And so I was always listening. I always kept, for the most part, especially when I was new, I kept my mouth shut a lot and I just took it all in. That's one thing that I feel like I've seen a lot with, I went to the academy as a mentor. And we had some guys that they're smart, very smart guys, and they always had to chirp. And I'm like, look, you could be these RTOs, these guys who have 20, 30 years on, they could be telling you something that is 100% wrong. And 100% the right answer. Just keep your mouth shut and say, okay. Because these guys be like, well, actually, nobody likes the well, actually guy. Nobody. Yeah. No, just keep just like I said, open mind, closed mouth. And you guys, you can't go wrong. That'll serve you well in your career. Yeah.
Keep the yammer shut. That's
right. Don't be weird. Don't be weird.
A lot. You become the people who you worked with in your career. If you could become a boss, you definitely take a little of everybody. You know what I mean? Or make sure that you don't want to be that guy. Certain things that certain people did. So.
For sure, yeah, and always look to give back to the up and coming, the new people, because like I said, I did that mentorship at our academy in 2015, and that was one of the greatest experiences that I think I've ever had, to be like that sounding board for those new guys and just go be the guy that's kind of seen it, done it, and give them the tips like, oh, do that, or and also take care of them. I'm kind of going off a tangent here, but kind of take care of them. And I think of one time we were doing hose lays, and they're doing grabbing the loops, the whole deal. And the guy's pulling the line, and the lead RTO was like, if they drop those loops early, you charge that freaking line. And this guy was pulling the line. He was running, and as he was going, one of the other recruits wasn't paying attention, and they stepped on the line. Well, he felt the tug, so he dropped the loop. And I saw it, and he did the right thing. He thought it, but he should have looked back. But he dropped the loop because he thought it was pulling, and he was just going. And the RTO was like, "Charge that freaking line," And I'm holding on the gate like, I don't know. He's like, charge that, and I'm like looking out of the corner of my eye, waiting until he's like almost to the end, and pull it, and he comes over and he's like, "What the f was that?" I was like, "I don't know, the gate was stuck," and then he's all, it feels pretty smooth to me, And I'm like, I don't know, it was weird, and then he's like, just shake his head. I go, "Isn't that what I'm here for?" He's like, yeah, all right, whatever, And then, but I told that recruit, I was like, "Hey, I did you a solid, because that would have sucked and you would have been running this whole deal." I was like, before you drop your loop, you feel a little tug, just give a 2-second look back to see if it's actually what was going on. But that was kind of cool to just be that mentor, And the guy,
I was just gonna say that mentor, bro.
Yeah. So
good for you, man.
Yeah.
Dude, Patty Lee hit it right on the head. That's Roy Bocci. That voice.
Yeah. Oh, it is Roy Bocci, bro.
Roy's Bocci voice, man. Without a doubt.
Except he's got a little lift, Roy.
Roy's got a little lift.
He talks like that. Yeah. That's so funny. Well, dude, I haven't laughed this hard on the show in a while, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
I've been checking out your stuff, and if you want to see him, you can see it on TikTok. Instagram,
Facebook, YouTube.
Get out there.
Yeah.
Go after, and there's a lot of guys out there just putting his content. So make sure you're actually on his site.
Firefighter Fenton.
Firefighter Fenton. Yep. And you'll on Facebook and TikTok, or Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you'll see the little check mark. So that's how you know it's actually me.
Oh, verified.
Yeah. Verified stuff. So that's how you actually know it's me. And then, but yeah, TikTok, it's a constant battle to get people stuff.
Trust but verified.
So
I'm saying. All right, Ruff, what do we got next Thursday? We got a show, right? We have
Lenny. Was it Lenny? What the heck did I looked it up? Or Delaney?
Oh yeah, that's
firefighter Kenny Delaney.
Kenny Delaney. He was the guy who had the Kitchen Table podcast.
Oh, the guy who had the other Kitchen Table podcast. I got.
He's a good guy.
I'm gonna hammer him.
The other white meat.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, baby.
Brent, continued success.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. This was awesome. I had a blast.
Wish you the best, man. I'll be checking you out.
You guys too.
Every morning now when I get up.
I know he's going to text me or call me tomorrow.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
This guy's hilarious. We got to do something with this guy. He's going to come up with something. Be
Brent's
prepared,
Brent. And Gonzo
he's going to be calling you.
Oh, yeah. And we'll definitely connect. We'll definitely connect at FDIC for sure.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah.
Dick.
That was for Cruz, by the way. You think I heard him?
Yeah, tell Jason he can buy his dinner. We'll all be all right with that.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, we're in. What time? Let's go.
That's right. You're coming this year, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Look at how Gun slipped right in there. Slipped right in there, bro.
St. Elmo's, Jason.
Oh, we love saying all the hot sauce with the shrimp. Boom!
Oh man, so good.
Horseradish.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man, tell Jason it's on fire department coffee. Tell him to bring the coffee. All right, boy.
We're gonna mix the booths together. We'll mix the booths
Brent,
together.
I'll be watching your shit like crazy.
Thank you so much.
We will see you next week. Until then, you know what I say. Stay low and go. Oh, forgot about this. Again, the Lancaster County. Ruffy and I will be there May 16th and 17th.
Harrisburg.
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'll be hobbling around with my brand new knee. And Ruffy, I'll be sitting a lot. Ruffy will be doing a lot of work. How do you like that?
I got it. I got you.
My boy got me.
Oh, there he is.
I can't even look at him with that on, bro. It doesn't even look like him.
He looks like Bocce too, a little bit like that. I swear,
Yeah.
he looks like Bocce.
All right.
They look like me. I mean, Bocce looks like me.
Yeah, Bocce looks like
I look like nobody.
That's his voice too.
Yeah. All right, Brent. Thanks, Brent and Fireman Fenton.
That's right. Thank you guys so much.
We appreciate it.
You do a decent job, morons.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We'll see you at the big one. Thanks again, brother.
All right, everyone. Rolling Helvey in South Florida.
Helvey? What the?
Helvey.
I can't even get that right, you knucklehead.
It's not even that. I was thinking about voices and I fucked it all up.
All right, go ahead.
All right, we're rolling, Helvey. See you later.